It was quite a chilly, windy evening in early April. I got in my car and began heading on over to Steve's house. There, I'd meet up with Frank, Colin, and Chad. We'd simply keep it low-key that night and just be hanging out at Steve's house, not really going anywhere as it was cold, windy, and frankly, we just wanted to hang out and keep things relaxed. Anyway, 45 minutes later, and I finally made it to Steve's house. You're probably thinking, 45 minutes, it's a long-ass drive. And well, yeah, it kinda is. But see, Steve, he lives out in the sticks. For how he claims to be from the city and everything, he really does live more in like a rednecky kind of area. His house is in the woods on some country road. Anyway, enough of that. I pulled into Steve's driveway and found Chad, Frank, and Colin were already there waiting for me. Hey guys! Frank squeaks. What's up, Frank? I said. How you guys doing? Pretty good, Colin replies.
I say we head inside, bros. Steve bro is waiting for us,
said Chad. We do just that. We ring Steve's doorbell and he lets us in. Steve's parents were out of town that week, meaning we had the house all to ourselves.
What's good, man? I say we hit up this bitch on the computer,
Steve said. I was kinda disappointed when Steve said we just gonna head onto his computer, as that likely meant he was up for one of his gaming sessions. But boy was I wrong, as when we got up to Steve's room, he did something completely different.
Man, we gotta go on the dark web, G,
he said. The dark web? Colin replied. Steve, why do you want to go on the dark web? There's only a bunch of illicit stuff on there, said Colin.
Man, I'm trying to do some hookup drugs, man, like some crack and shit.
Yo, Steve, you really shouldn't be messing with any of that. It's not anything you want to be going into, I said.
Man, shut your bitch ass up. I'm like a hood motherfucker. I got this shit on lock,
said Steve. Anyway, Steven looked up a bunch of tutorials on YouTube and had to install a bunch of weird and sketchy browsers to get onto the deep web, as Google and Safari obviously couldn't let you do that. Anyway, after about 30 minutes of toggling with his fancy computer setup, Steve finally made it. The deep web. The deep web didn't look anything too suspicious at first. It's kinda just had a black screen with a bunch of random links that you could scroll down and click on, whichever looked interesting.
Man, I'm clicking right here, G,
said Steve. I don't really know what the link was, and it didn't have a name, but Steve clicked on it. Let's just say we're traumatized for life. I'm not gonna say what we found on the deep web. Let's just say that's something you really don't want to be looking at, as if you want to maintain your sanity, I'll say. Anyway, Steve then exited the link. Frank says,
something tells me this is a good idea. Bryson, man, you better mind your pussy ass up. Everybody know you to be the biggest bitch in town,
said Steve.
Ooh, Steve, bro, make sure to book. It's bulking season in the gym. Do you have any protein powder?
Chad asked.
Fuck yeah, man.
We all took a break from the computer and headed on down into Steve's kitchen, where Steve showed us his food layout.
I got Doritos, I got Cheetos, I got Fritos, I got potato chips. Oh, and I got Mountain Dew and Sprite. And Sprite.
Steve handed Frank the Sprite, and Frank chugs it down. He then adds a Monster Energy to the mix, just for some extra hyperness. I don't know if it's a good idea for people like Frank, however. And when Frank gets hyper, it's usually kind of crazy. Frank piped. Anyway, Chad eventually settled on some protein donuts that Steve had. Don't get it twisted. They were regular donuts, the Little Debbie's brand, in fact. But he had added some protein powder he bought from the home, or from his house, to mix him in with a protein shake out of them.
Ooh, it sure hit the gains, bro. Now, I say we buzz your way back on to Steve Bro's room and get our intellect on with some good documentaries. That sounds like a fine-ass plan to me. But I say we do some dark web shit.
And so we did just that. Went back up to Steve's room and reluctantly went back onto the dark web. Steve searched up for his cocaine that he was looking for and clicked the first link he saw. However, instead of a deep, illicit shop, something else came up. It was a Skype call. Steve began receiving a Skype call from the title of Cyber Security Patrol, quote unquote, and I had no idea what that was. Last time I checked, Steve claimed he didn't even have Skype installed on his computer.
What the fuck is this shit, man?
Said Steve. I really don't know, but Steve picked up the call anyway. Just then, we saw a little red light on his monitor turn on, indicating we were on camera. Sure enough, A little box popped up in the left corner of the screen with us in it. We all huddled around Steve while we waited for the other user on the other end to join up. Just then, they joined.
Good evening, boys.
They said, "Oh, no, Colin exclaimed. It was the creepy clerk, the same guy from all the other trips in the past. He was the same guy that infiltrated my meatball back during the Francis Mall of Dirty. I had no idea how he infiltrated Steve's computer, but he appeared to be in some sort of office. It wasn't a very clean office, rather. It looked like some sort of home office, as there were a bunch of old beer cans and old, weird, funky statues behind him. Many of them dressed up pretty inappropriately, too. Hey, but we're not going to go into that. What the fuck are you doing here, bro? I said.
Well, you know, boys, there are lots of dangers of being online now. Gotta have some protection. But don't mind me, though. Go on surfing the web. And I'll just be here in the corner to keep an eye on you.
Oh, fuck no. You are not allowed to be watching us while we surf the web. What are you doing? Like, actually, Colin says.
You know, boys, I was just bored at home, and I need to pick up some extra cash to provide for my family. So, I decided to pick up a job as a cybersecurity patrol officer.
Bro, that doesn't even exist, Colin said.
Man, I don't fucking know. Get your bitch ass off here,
said Steve. Steve then began clicking around, trying to rid his computer of the Skype call. However, it didn't really work.
Oh, I locked the screen, boys. Can't get rid of me,
the creepy clerk said. Just then, we really couldn't do anything. We couldn't exit out of the tab. Steve tried powering off the computer, but even that didn't work.
Man, what are we gonna do, Chief? What we gonna do?
I had no idea what we were gonna do. Just then, though, we had to get the creepy clerk. I mean, the creepy clerk wasn't really anything dirty at the moment. He wasn't really acting up. It kind of worried me, as when it comes to the creepy clerk, he's always usually up to something.
Hold tight right there, boys. I'm typing the location now.
The what? Said Colin. I don't blame him. We could hear the sound of the creepy clerk's keyboard from the other end. Just then, our screen froze. The creepy clerk's camera went away, and up popped another little screen tab in the bottom right corner of the screen. We could all see the creepy clerk's profile picture, which is just him looking at us with those creepy eyes. That was his profile picture. We had something else to worry about besides the creepy clerk's creepy profile. The person that popped up in the bottom of that corner was also someone very, very alarming.
What are you, boys? What's up?
It was no one other than Herbert Ernie himself. What the fuck do you mean, what's up, Herbert? What the fuck are you doing here? And how did you get into our computer? Colin demanded.
Well, my buddy, the creepy clerk, sends me a message on Skype, and he said that some special boys are being very unsafe online, and they were taking away the virus database, you know, boys. You boys don't want to get the virus, but don't worry, I'm here to help. My name is Geeky Boy Ernie, and it is my sole duty and honor to go around and getting spammer bros and boys who are unsafe online.
Herbert proclaimed. Herbert, that doesn't exist. You just leave, I said. The creepy clerk said, but just then, Herbert interrupted once more.
You know, boys, the creepy clerk and on your way to your house right now, Stevie. In fact, put it into my screen.
We didn't believe Herbert at first when he decided to double check, though, just to be sure. Colin got out his phone and we opened up Snapchat before going on to the Snap Map feature. Sure enough, Herbert Ernie, his little icon, was on Steve's street that moment, heading towards his house. You think we should, make a run for it? I said.
Nah, man, let's go to the crawl space to hide, G.
The crawl space? Steve, what the fuck do you mean the crawl space? Let's get the fuck out of here, I said. But it was no use. Everyone else all simultaneously agreed to side with Steve, since it was his house and all. And we were already crawling into the crawl space in Steve's basement, and I had no choice but to follow. I looked at Steve's window before we went down to the basement, though, and a pit formed in my stomach when we see the all-signature Ford Ruster pulling into Steve's driveway. It was all the way dark outside at that point, and I could see the headlights of the Ford Ruster illuminating Steve's garden, and Steve's garden gnomes in the front yard and all. And then, Herbert and the creepy clerk step outside the car. Oh shit, I said to myself. I reluctantly head down into the basement and meet the others back in the crawlspace. Steve's crawlspace was weird and sketchy to a whole new level. Steve had an older house, meaning the crawlspace consisted of a bunch of dusty boulders with spiders and goon cockroaches in there, all nasty stuff. It had no lighting either, so we had to use our phone flashlights to see, but we decided to turn them off to be extra hidden. The next 10 minutes involved us just sitting there in the crawlspace. The only sounds we could hear was the ringing in our ears, and no one said a word, although Frank wasn't too quiet about his breathing.
Shut your bitch ass up, bust me before I beat your ass,
said Steve in the darkness. The rest of us remained silent. 5 minutes later, and we all heard the sound of Steve's front door swing open, followed by Herbert and the creepy clerk step inside.
Oh, come on up, boys. I'm just trying to have a fun time. I heard you boys are online tonight, and I figured, why keep the distance so virtual? We can be here in person together. A special boys,
the creepy clerk said. Something that didn't make sense. I thought that Herbert and the creepy clerk were only here to make sure we were being safe online. Why were they coming to us in real life? Well, someone told me they had ulterior motives up their sleeves from the jump, and that this whole online thing is probably some sort of cover-up. And we didn't have time to worry about that question, though, as, yeah, they really were here in real life.
Hey, come here, boys. I'm gonna get ya,
Herbert said. We could hear Herbert's chubby footsteps coming down the basement. The creepy clerk was right behind. I decided to peek my head out from the crawl space and was able to see Herbert and his chubby potbelly round the corner. Herbert looked more ridiculous than ever before. He wore a full and complete tree costume. His head was able to poke out, and his hair was the shape of a shampoo bottle. And no, that is not a joke. What I mean by that is, like, he had an afro-like hair, which is all frizzy and such, but he had shaved it, kind of like that Japanese bonsai thing, into the exact shape of a shampoo bottle, like detailed too. It had the leaves all over his belly and the back part of the tree costume, and he had hood up and crouched down to blend in to actually look like a tree.
Now, Mr. Herbert, you can go wait outside. I do have a special move myself, and the crawl space really is the perfect location for special boys and I to go in our band together,
the creepy clerk said. Herbert gave the creepy clerk a wink and went upstairs to wait outside. I was one man down, but we still had to worry about the worst of them all, the creepy clerk. The creepy clerk lifted up the trap door to the crawl space and looked inside.
Found you boys,
he said.
Now, I see we bring some pillows and blankets down here. Looks awfully cozy. I can bring you some blankets. We can order a pizza, Netflix and chill. I get the popcorn. And then, of course, you can always do the chill part, if you know what I mean. Netflix and chill was some special bowls you're always down for,
he said. Okay, well, fuck this, we all said. We bust out of the crawl space and book it past the creepy clerk, back upstairs. We go outside and run out into Steve's driveway into the cold wind. However, we were all stopped when I felt two chubby hands grab my shirt. Steve, why in the world does your bush have hands? I shouted.
Hey, man,
said Steve. However, it really wasn't Steve's bush that had hands. We had completely forgotten about Herbert, him and his little pesky-ass tree costume that was. Herbert's piercing fingernails tore into my shirt and held me while the creepy clerk came back outside.
It looks like you caught one now, Chief. Now, why don't the rest of you boys pick up some popcorn? Now, Nicky Boy and I will go on our bond together as special boys. And then I say, we go tick back down to the crawl space. A little chilly out here, and I forgot my winter coat at home. I thought it was supposed to be summertime now, boys. Well, it is April, and I thought I could wear my summer clothes.
And the creepy clerk wasn't lying about these summer clothes, quote-unquote, either, as all he wore was a pair of short 80s style gym trainers and a bra up top, extra revealing. He had a pot belly, and his greasy thighs were exposed to the cold April wind. His hair was long and greasy, and he wore an old pair of muddy hiking boots that went to his knees. Let me go, you bitch, I said, but luckily Herbert wasn't that strong, and I was easily able to break free from him.
Yeah, come back here, Nick. You haven't proven yourself yet. Creepy clerk and squad. Maybe we can take this back online, eh?
Herbert said. Just then, I ran back up into Steve's room. Everyone else followed. Steve locked the door behind him, and we all hid in there. We even barricaded his door with a bunch of chairs.
Quick, man, keep your bitch ass down, especially you, Buzzman, you're the loudest one.
Yuki! Said Frank. Anyway, we expected to hear Herbert and the creepy clerk follow us back inside, but we didn't. It was all silent for the next 10 or so minutes. We could still see the creepy clerk's icon on Steve's computer screen, and the screen was still frozen, but now his computer is making a weird sound. It sounded something like this, like breathing.
You don't even hear that special voice.
It was the creepy clerk, of course. His breathing echoed throughout Steve's silent room. Steve had enough. He got a screwdriver out from the cabinet and unscrewed the battery from his computer. Luckily, this finally turned it off. That's when he heard it, the sound of a revving coming out from Steve's driveway. Bro, come on. Why don't these dudes just leave us the fuck alone? We moaned to ourselves. Not like that. But anyway, we look out into the driveway and saw the Ford Ruster, headlights on, high beams and everything, engine revving. Herbert and the creepy clerk were inside. The creepy clerk now had the interior light turned on and was dancing. He then got out a megaphone and rolled down the window and said some words.
Come on out here, boys. We got some tunes.
The creepy clerk was playing the all-signature song, Party in the USA, one of his all-time classics. He then began to sing along, as did Herbert.
I put my hands up, playing my song, the butterflies fly away. Not in my head like, yeah.
Dude, what the actual fuck? Oh, shit. Bro, I got done the lawsuit, man. Okay, that was it. The final straw. Colin got out his phone and called the cops. 5 minutes later, and the police arrived, all with the creepy clerk, and both of them were taken away. The reason why we called the cops so abruptly is because Herbert and the creepy clerk were now both butt naked. Anyway, they were taken away, and justice was delivered. Though, as for us, we all went home traumatized and said goodbye to Steve for the night. We all simply went back to bed and called it a night early. We may as well just get some rest for school the next day after all. That then concludes the cyber threat of the creepy.